Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. Today we are on episode number 57. Man, Bert, you are the greatest. I just want you to know that. 57, and today I'm excited. I'm super fucking excited, especially because I just saw this band perform, and I've been wanting to have them on the podcast for a while now. But today we have Jesse and Tim from Animaljam.
Hi.
Howdy.
Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, how is it going, guys? Like, what do y'all, how y'all doing today? You know, I'm even nervous. Look at that.
You woke up on a
Good.
Super Bowl Sunday to record this, and you know it's been an easy day.
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday, but we're not really sports guys, so.
No.
Same here. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I was like, oh, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I accommodated like times for people, but honestly, I was like, you know, I don't think I'm not super sports guy, so I'm like I'm all right. Like, I am looking forward to halftime show. That's about it.
Yeah. Like I was saying, this is the first year I actually watched every Cowboys game, but as soon as they were done, I was like, all right, I don't care anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
It would have been cool to see them go all the way, though.
Maybe. That's what everybody says.
Everybody says we them boys every year. So it's like I'm not a big sports guy, but that's all. Like, that is like my home team. So that's who like all my teams are. It's like everybody from like here. So
Yeah.
But yes, like I'm super pumped, especially like after seeing like that freaking amazing performance that y'all did with like Cat Bamboo. I enjoy seeing y'all so much, but like at the and it being at the rail, just like it's just a really good sound in there, and it's really huge, and like it was so cool to see you guys like on that stage.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about that show?
Honestly, we never played there before, and the sound system was like great. I really liked it.
Yeah. First time at that venue, I liked how high the stage was. And yeah, I could
The
hear
room of the stage too. I mean, we're like
Yeah, a lot of room.
6 dudes, pound for pound, dicking around, and we're just like, you know, there's a lot of space.
I changed
Right?
our Spotify bio to that, by the way.
Okay, good. We're rebranding. We're just 6 dudes, pound for pound, dicking around.
No, the sound was great. The people that worked there were very
60.
professional as well.
Man,
They were very quick and professional.
Yeah. Like, that sound guy was new to me, so I was like watching him work, and he was really quick, like on the draw about everything. But yeah, you're right. You mentioned the space, and you guys are like a 6 like piece band, which is like huge, and like I feel like you don't see like a lot of it anymore, so it's really like cool to see. That was the way it originally formed. Like it's all everybody's original from like the first lineup in the first EP, right? Yeah, which is kind of cool to see, because like I talked to a lot of people, and like it's gone through like some lineup changes, so I love that it's literally how it started. With that, how was it originally just intended? Were you guys just jamming out like originally when like Animaljam started, or like did you have it in mind that you wanted a 6 like piece band?
Well, previously, we were part of 2 different bands. He was a part of a band called Visions, who was Austin, was also a part of. And then I was a part of To Ancient Times, which is also another 6 piece. So we pretty much took like that whole string section from that.
Yeah.
And then some of us were doing vocals too. And then I think at a point, our lead guitarist John joined their band because they had a member fall out.
It was me and Nathan in Visions, and then all the string players, they were in the other band.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But then, John joined Visions.
And then we did a show together. And then that happened to be, that ended up being your last show.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then we put on a few shows after that, and then we got put on to like some kind of festival, and then we didn't end up doing it because like the sound guy, I think he was like overwhelmed at a point and was being a dick.
Are you talking about To Ancient Times?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we were just like, fuck it. And then
like,
after
I'm ready for this.
that, the band just kind of like dissipated. Yeah. And then
Both bands just combined.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Into one. So like both were ending, and it's like, you know what? Why don't we like?
We were just, I guess,
Combine
a
it.
super group at the time is what we call ourselves.
Yeah.
Before we had a name.
yeah.
Shoot, I'd call that. I used to hear about Visions like a lot, and then it was like, this is a really good band, and so I'm like, oh, okay, like, and I finally like listened to like Vision. I'm like, yo, like Nathan's vocals is exactly like right up my fucking alley. So I'm like, this is so fucking good. So when I heard Visions like at the like ending of like Vision, so like I didn't really get to experience that band. And I think the last show was at Tomcats, right? I think I remember. I don't know. I remember like
I think that was
show?
Yeah.
Last Vision show I thought was originally Room. Was it not?
No, I think it was Tom Cousin was with
Because
us.
Visions and Animaljam played. And it was like Visions' last show and Animaljam's first show.
Maybe that was.
No, because
But we
I don't
did.
know.
We did
Because I
like
know-
Tomcats like all
I remember
the time.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I remember like that.
R.I.P.
seeing the
Tomcats,
flyers.
man.
I
R.I.P.
know.
Tomcats.
Real Club is the new Tomcats.
Hopefully, and like it's we
Right
were
across the
we actually
street.
were talking about it is right across the street. We were talking about James the other day, the sound guy from Tomcats. If you guys
Okay.
remember him,
yeah, dude, he was cool.
He watched me
greatest sound
grow
guy.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll never stop talking about James, like because I'm like every time like I'm just like I hope he's doing well because like he did so good.
Yeah,
like,
wherever
by
you're out there,
everybody.
James. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so you guys combined and made like one whole thing. That's why like I think that's why I was really stoked to hear Animaljam, because of like what I heard like Nate was doing vocals again in Animaljam, and then I started looking at it like that you were playing also on that, and there was like a bunch of combined players. So I was like, oh, like I'm really really excited to hear this. And that first EP was, to me, out of fucking nowhere, just like it was just a great flow of songs. The way every song like went right after the other. The start of it is like it starts off with like those chords, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect here. I'm just waiting, and then it just kicks in and just doesn't stop throughout that whole EP.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then the ending is so fucking weird. Like you know, Bird and I were just speaking about it today, and it's like it starts, it has a great flow, like it ends really well, and then for me, like for that to come out of like that's a first EP out of a band, but now it makes more sense. You know, what I mean, it's two bands with experience about like what they want sound wise and stuff like that. Is writing that? How did that? You know, how was that experience?
Well, for a long time, John writes like the basis of a lot of the songs. I would say like he's a maniac, honestly. He has like a bunch of songs just like written. We have songs stowed away.
He's kind of the mastermind.
Yeah. And then he gives us songs, and we just sort of like we pick what we like out of it.
There's a lot of songs that Johnny has written, just not even full, but basically, whenever we came as a band, he had these songs or riffs that he had, and we collectively listened to everything.
Yeah.
And decided on those 5 songs collectively.
Yep, handpicked.
Which is what we put out.
Yeah.
So-
That first album was kind of like we like to say like a little platter, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Nothing sounds like they all have like an overarching theme of like post-hardcore, right?
Yeah.
But everything's like a little different. Like Duke is like really really heavy. Sertraline's sort of kind of poppy, right? And kind of like R&B. There's grooves and stuff in it, right? So we just like want to, with that first EP, we want to show people like what we can do, right?
Oh, that makes perfect sense listening back to it, because it does for me specifically, like it hit every one of my little tastes, which is why like I really like enjoy it, and that makes more sense that it was like, because I did notice like, oh, like you were saying, Duke gets like really heavy at like some point, and I'm like, oh, they don't do that in like any of the other songs, you know? And it was like just stuff like if I really sat down and paid attention, I was like, oh yeah, they it's not a thing that's like on every song, but then you have like some of the parts where like they're real like grooves, or like some part where I brought up to Bert like the dual vocals made me like think of like the like 4 Years Strong type of back and forth, especially with like John's vocals. I can't remember the song now that I'm thinking of, but
was it Tarantula maybe?
I think it's Tarantula. Yeah, that might be the one. But there is, now that you're pointing it out, it's like I can look back and be like, oh, that does make sense. Like it's a bit of like everything that can be done. So okay, so those are just like among like a collection of songs that like John kind of had of ideas for already.
Yeah. And there's like a lot more. And then later on, we'll take the basis of what he wrote, maybe do variations of it, maybe add a few things here and there. Sometimes, I mean, like I want to say when we even play some of these songs live now, there are differences in what we play now and then what's recorded.
Oh, really?
Songs are generally presented by Johnny, and then I may change the drums up, and then from practicing we'll change parts, so they kind of evolve.
Yeah.
So,
which makes sense in like songwriting. With it's an idea, and I'm assuming like that's Johnny's bringing it with like drums that are like, oh, this is like what's in here, but it then going to like your actual like drummer and being like, okay, like this stuff kind of works. Like I can work some more stuff out. And I get it, because like I don't know, does Johnny play anything other than like guitar and stuff like that?
Oh, he plays everything. He first started out playing drums, and then I mean like we were in like grade school. We did like instruments too. Like he played saxophone.
Okay.
I went from trumpet to euphonium to tuba. Colby played French horn. Carlin played like trombones. So we're like sort of through school, like classically trained, right?
Yeah.
And then John was the only one that actually went through like to college. Took like music education as before he like dropped out. So he has like a lot of repertoire and like stuff to be able to use to do that stuff.
That's really fucking cool. Now I'm just like thinking like, oh, this shit's gonna pop up like in Animaljam songs like later on.
And his dad's a rock star too, so it's like bred within his fucking family.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. And I think he's also had an uncle who played with Willie Nelson as a drummer too.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it, like a
real-
legacy music? Oh shit!
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
It's music. His dad's side of the family, like they get together, they do like songs like during Christmas time and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, man, I wonder. Like, my family's not that musical. I wonder what it'd be like. But for him, sometimes it feels like a chore.
I bet.
So I can understand
I
too.
can see that. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, I think like us looking into it and be like that looks pretty like fun or whatever. But then, you're right. Like if it's something you do so much like throughout like the year or whatever, like it might just seem like, oh, I'm just trying to hang out, you know what I mean? Like, not play work here. But okay, so that was like the first EP. Then the second EP. So is the second EP more of like, you know, figuring out like what like type of like thematically like trying to put like an EP together that kind of went together a little bit more? Because since you're saying like the first one's like the sample platter like of everything you can do, and this one's kind of like, okay, what do we want to do with that EP?
That one was written in parts, so it is like a cohesive, has an overlying theme, which I'm just the drummer, so I don't know if you want to expand on the theme of it. You might know more than me.
Yeah. Originally, those like the subtitles, like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, January 1st, January 2nd. We wanted to go with a theme of like, and if you listen to it in its entirety, it definitely flows together. So we wanted to do like, you know, a complete thought, a concept album, if you will. It's more or less about
Falling out.
a falling out and then like picking the pieces afterwards.
Okay.
Becoming a you know.
In a romantic relationship, is that right?
Yeah. Well, people can represent how they want it, but that's like the original thought for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, having discourse with somebody or someone, and then moving on from that, and then improving yourself from what you learned. You know. Yeah.
Who's like, not to pry, but whose like personal experience was that like? Did it come out from?
I imagine if it was John writing
Yeah?
it, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I would imagine it'd be him. But I mean, we took the themes from it, and then everybody just kind of like Nate top lines. So he took what he had out of it as well, and sort of like through his experiences in life.
Typically, I mean, since Johnny usually writes these songs, he will have themes in mind for all of them. But once they are written, Nathan will kind of take Johnny's idea and make his own lyrics, story, whatever. But Nathan and Johnny both do work on the lyrics together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that would make sense. You know, like someone, if Johnny's coming up with a theme, then, you know, it's just figuring out what that theme means to like, in this case, like Nathan, and what it means to like him, and like that way they write parts. But that would, man, that seems really cool. But I'm looking at like how difficult like that is, like how to make stuff correlate and things like with each other.
A lot of times with Nate, he makes all like these really, really beautiful, catchy melody lines, which I really, really love. And then top on that, John has these really, really dense. Like he loves vocabulary, right? Yeah. So a lot of times his lyrics just feel like word slurpy, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
and you know, it also gives the people like our fans a chance to like learn new words. You know, our music is like a dictionary.
Animaljam is teaching people.
Yeah,
honestly, that the vocabulary thing is something that I've always like. I've reiterated with myself. I'm like, man, I need to read more books, because sometimes I find myself talking and I'm like, oh, I use a lot of the same words over and over, and then I'll have moments where I'm like, I don't know how to express myself right now because I don't have like the words for it. But that's kind of cool. Like, and same thing. It's actually something we were talking with Erin from Fever Cult on one of the songs, like Anodyne. She went on and looked up on Word of the Day, and I'm like, that's dope as hell. You know what I mean? And it's all these like little cool ways to like just make songs work. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
how to express a thought, and even just like have fun with it. Like how to make it more interesting, like for yourself. Now, as far as like guitar writing, there's 3 of y'all. So how does that go? Like with like creating parts for like everybody in the band.
I would say like probably a lot of times what it starts out with is like, you create chord structure, things like that. And then on top of that, sometimes there'll be a lead line and then like a harmony to that lead line. So the way that John writes a lot of the times is almost orchestral because it's what he grew up with, right?
Yeah.
And like learned in school. So when he's writing parts, it's almost like he's writing parts for like, like a small little set band or like, different, like we'd like to see ourselves not as like lead guitar, rhythm guitar or something like that. It'd be like guitar 1, guitar 2, and guitar 3.
Okay.
Right? Which is like another sort of like orchestral terming for like how instruments are balanced within a section, right? So like strings and stuff like that.
Because you guys like definitely like it's. I don't think there's any one specific person that does like just like you're just doing like rhythm stuff. Because I see it like bounce ball back and forth, which I'm like that's tight as hell. That's what I was wondering. I was like I wonder how that gets written. Like who. Because there's not like one person's lead all the time. The one person's this. Like I've seen everybody like it go around, and like I think that's one.
It's hard to mix too
it,
sometimes too.
Yeah.
Sometimes the guitar parts sound strange on just by themselves, but together, it sounds
Oh really?
Yeah, like
every now and then. Just
I like so one of the songs that you guys haven't seen yet, but we played last night was Vent, right?
Yeah.
The intro. Oh, sorry. Yeah. The intro to Vent, I really really love it. To me, it sounds like a prelude to like a video game like Final Fantasy VII or something. But like each one of those lines sound unique, like unique melodies by themselves. And then when you put them all together, it combines into this like weird dream-like, I don't know, it sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all played 3 new songs, right? Technically. One's been out, I think.
Unreleased, yeah.
2 unreleased, and then one that y'all just put out, right?
Yeah, Anadonia. No, we actually played, I guess
3 unreleased.
3 unreleased.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It was 3 unreleased, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we say the names?
I mean, I feel like we can. Yeah.
Chicken. Austin is here to the side.
He's giving thumbs
We're
up.
just like looking over like, is this cool?
It's called, our next 2 songs are called Vent and Seashell.
Vent and Seashell.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I feel like they're a little, except for Anadonia, I'm like, they're getting a little more simple. But I remember like for the longest time, actually like Bert and I had this conversation where like, how do we say the last song on the first EP? We're just like, how do you say that?
Oh, okay.
So
give me your best shot. What is it?
well, I know it now. 'Cause,
Okay.
Like, but it's I might mess it up. It's Pomdiwadi, right? Or
Yeah, that's
like
what we call it. Yeah.
A lot of people actually don't say it that
PM
raw.
Niwadi.
That's not how I said it. No,
People usually say PM Niwadi, which it's Pom Niwadi, but yeah.
That's how I like because I heard the story, but I'll let you guys say the story like how that even came to be because I found that I was like, oh, this must be like another language. Like I'm like, oh, I wonder who came up with this. I'm like, what does it mean? Like, isn't that?
For a while there, people did like we had a comment. It's like, is this Tagalog? Or Tagalog? My bad. Yeah. Were you say something?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's Philippine. Philippine.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the story is not deep at all. Johnny's phone, he used to, whenever he would type "on my way," his phone would autocorrect it to Pomniwadi.
Yeah, which is goofy, but yeah.
That's what like when I heard that I'm like, what? And then I look back at it, I'm like, holy shit, that's a terrible misspelling, like autocorrect.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think these are words. And like, so how did it get that? But that was literally like, I remember I heard the story at when y'all played Trees, this most recent time. Mm-hmm. And then just like, I was looking at it, and I'm like, it comes down to that really. Like, and I love that because it's always like, like again, in my head, I'm like, what does it mean? What's the significance of this? Like, is it another language and all this stuff? And I hear the story and I'm like, that's better than anything I could have like hoped for.
Yeah.
It's literally an autocorrect. So yeah.
A lot of that first album were just like fun, memorable. Like some of the songs did have sort of meaning, like Sertraline definitely had meaning, right? If you guys don't know, Sertraline's like an off-brand antidepressant drug, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like a generic brand.
Yeah.
Tarantula just sounds fun.
Tarantula
right?
sounds fun.
Philosophizing does pertain to the song, but it's spelled in like a silly way, right?
It used to be spelled correctly, actually.
Yeah.
Philosophizing with like PH.
But now it's like philosophizing.
Who was like, hey, I got an idea.
Yeah, right? Because it sounds like I don't know. It sounds like it's the chorus line to me always sounds like a pirate thing, right?
Okay.
Like I always tell, or we've done the thing recently, especially where he like will ding the bell before it to sound like calling the fucking.
I did that once the last show.
I like it. It sounds so cool. And I think for Duke, Baron, and Mops, we have like a story for that as well. Yeah, that's like a character in a world.
Which
Sure.
we never play that song live anymore, but we're always talking about developing like more to the story and creating more sequels
Funny
to
enough.
that song.
Sequels.
Yeah.
So
That's actually one thing. That's Bert over here's favorite song, and they're like, they're gonna play it tonight.
I
Like,
feel
I
bad for people that like that song because we never
Yeah.
play it.
Yeah, like I like to imagine like a king or a duke, right? Just like stomping, just like down the hallway.
We are
It's
writing a
good
Duke
stuff.
2 though, and it's
Duke 2.
it's very good.
The Duke universe is expanding. I mean, that'd be fucking. That's again another like cool concept of like just writing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
It's Duke.
It's Duke. That's the stomp. That's the stomping. But this newest song, really really interesting. Like the way it's not like I don't know what I was expecting. I was just hyped when I was like it was coming out, and then hearing that like really really like beautiful instrumentation like at the beginning where it's just like an instrumental. I'm like, and I was thinking, I was like, is this gonna be like all like this? I'm I'm fucking cool. Like, you know, this is great. Like it's a nice build up. And then when the song kicks in, I'm like, oh, like okay, it transitions into a way that reminded me a lot of like the first EP of like stuff being like put together, like not necessarily is like what you're expecting, and I love that like about music. I love being like thrown off about something.
Yeah.
Do you what kind of like with that song and working on like new music? What kind of like new things do you think y'all are adding to like what this new project is gonna be like?
Busy.
I was going to say, originally with Anadonia, we actually talked about splitting that into 2 tracks and having that whole
I
first,
fucking knew it.
the entire first, yeah. So the first section was going to be kind of like the intro. I don't know, it may still have had a title, but then Anadonia would have started at
When it's our type.
When I like yeah, okay.
Yeah, but what was the question?
I think like for it to be a single,
Yeah.
we wanted. I mean, the song's like a fucking 6-minute song.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be something that's good, long, and like transformative.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is, you know, start soft, and then like when it builds, right?
Yeah.
And then when it kicks in. You groove, you're having fun, and then it gets to like a pivotal moment, and then it like you know, it's like any story, right? You have the conflict, and then the aftermath of the conflict, and then it just kind of like delves back into a lull of slumber, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I listened to it, and I'm like, I feel like these could have been 2 songs. But the fact that they're one just makes the experience that much better for me because it's all in the one track to listen to. Because if they were separate, you know, I would have not heard that beginning part till like maybe, you know, depending on what part was dropped first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that whole experience together is really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I had a feeling. I'm like, I think these maybe started up like 2 ideas. But they worked so well together, and it shows 2 different sides of like what Animaljam like does, and I'm like, oh, this is. I don't know like what the strategy was or how it felt like when they were like it was. You guys decided to put it together, but no, that has like a great feeling. I love like that the way that flows into that like that music. But yeah, no, the question was like with like the new stuff that y'all are working on. What do you think like the new elements that y'all are trying to add to it, or what specifically are you focusing on?
Oh.
Well, the next songs that we have coming out are kind of similar. One's a bit heavier, one's a bit softer, but we are working on a debut full-length album, and it's going to be a bit different than our music now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard. I don't know which one it is of the live ones that y'all played the other night, but there's one that I don't know why has like a southern feel to it, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually sort of the feel of where our next album might be going.
Yo,
yeah.
okay.
We're gonna have a little fun, maybe create a little dance parties, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Super groovy.
It's going to be a little less post-hardcore-y.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love like
the roots will always be there.
No, but
yeah.
I think like again, like hearing that live, I'm like, it's intrigued me. Now I'm like, that sounds really cool as fuck. And then the idea of like you said like dance party now, like that type of vibe is really cool to see, especially in like crowds and like seeing people participate and stuff like that. It's a really nice and gets like people to want to experience like it a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's just a really like interactive way to get them, like I said, if you get people like to start dancing or start like grooving to it, it's a really cool thing to see. So that's a cool direction that like y'all are going.
It's fun. It's fun to play.
Yeah, and if we're not making people move, then we're not doing our job, you know.
Yeah. People were like wilding out to y'all. I fucking love seeing that reception that y'all get. How's that been like looking at the way that's progressed, I guess, over time since like the start? But there's like people out there like screaming these songs back at y'all, and that's so cool.
That was surreal the first time it happened. Yeah,
it's crazy. Especially after not playing a show for a while, our first show back, a lot of people tend to come to it, and they're wearing our shirts, saying hi, singing our songs. It's
like a lot of the times
cool.
During the holiday months, just because like we're 6 guys, right? 6 dudes, and
pound for pound.
Yeah, pound for pound. No, we're just 6 dudes, and like it's hard to like around. Everybody says like obligations are on the holidays, so we're just trying to like. It's not like we stopped. We just stopped performing live. We're still cooking up things in the background. We're either like we're still practicing, we're still talking about future plans, we are like have things mixing like in the background, we're tracking too for new stuff. So it's never like Animaljam goes into hibernation, but they're cooking things up while in hibernation.
They're cooking things up.
Yeah.
It's a weird balance that you kind of have to do, and people think you're not doing anything if you're not like talking about it or like posting about it necessarily what you're doing. So that in this like day and age, that's kind of what happens when like you stop playing live and then they don't see anything out, like and it's like, oh, they're gone, like, or they're not doing anything. And when reality, like y'all are literally like working on all this like new music. I remember when you I forgot who I talked to initially like at Trees, but they were like, oh yeah, we got like all this stuff like in the works and things like working out, and like some other stuff that that I heard, and I'm like, wow, okay, like that's, I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing. How do y'all feel about like the social media aspect of like having to be in a band?
Honestly, all of us pretty much. He's pretty good at it. He's the youngest member of a band. Most of us are boomers. So
boomers.
Yeah, some of them don't know how to like use their phones.
Did like me.
Like me?
No. But that's why we have people like Austin. Like honestly, our band wouldn't be as far as we are without Austin, because he has like the business savvy to get our names out there, the marketing. Like he's been there. Like, okay, so growing up in, back to your other question, growing up this area, and I'm sorry for you guys who like are outside of Texas because we haven't played live outside of Texas yet, nor less outside of North Texas. So it's like we haven't even, we got offers to play places, but like it has to be good for us. And
even like El Paso or something that's not that far, we're like,
yeah, exactly, right? It just has to be like really, really good for us. So I'm sorry, guys. But like growing up here, it was interesting to like get our footing because we were such a like unique genre, and it was like mixing in with like mathcore bands, and then we found our footing finally in like Denton and all that stuff. Yeah. What was your other question? Sorry,
I totally forgot.
It was marketing.
Yeah.
It's hard. We suck at social media for the most part.
In the beginning, it was me running all the social medias, and then now it's kind of Austin mainly.
Damn, shout out Austin.
Shout out Austin. And Austin from Facebook.
Yeah, Austin from Facebook.
Yeah,
and we try to participate as much as possible, you know.
Oh, and as far as the lulz, somebody actually online was like, "Are y'all still a band?"
Yeah.
And it was the day that we were dropping Anhedonia, and I was like, "Yes." And we had a song coming out later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at our history too, I mean, like our first EP was released at the end of one year, so it looks like it was released.
It was middle July.
Oh, it was August. Okay, no, we released the second one.
Second one was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like released later in the year, right? So it looks like it looks like it's later, and then we went like 2 years in between because we're very DIY.
Yeah.
Like we do tracking through Nate, and then
we do everything ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, he edit. No, not everything. we'll send people like it off to master as well, like off source to for mastering and all that stuff. But that's one of the reasons why it takes us like so long. So for it to get to like, that's why people are like, oh, are you guys still a band? Because we have like 2 years between releases, and then especially since our last release, before this last one, that was like 2 years too, and all there was a single. So I want to say that like we have now gotten to points where we have talked to good enough people and work with good enough people to start tracking and releasing music faster.
A little more quickly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got your system of and a network of people like that you can work with.
Yeah.
As far as like for setting off and mastering. So since the beginning, like you guys have done like all the tracking and stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. But you're right, like it has an extra step to like
Yeah, and that's also where Nate comes in to help too, because Nate and Jesse also went to Media Tech Institute.
Oh yeah, me
for a
and
little
Nate
bit.
both went to Media Tech Institute in Dallas, and I think Nate went the year after me.
He was valedictorian of his class.
He was
really. Oh my god,
nerd.
Nerd.
That's actually where we tracked the first EP.
Yeah,
out there,
the drums. Yeah, in one of the studios there, which was really nice.
This place is really nice.
Yeah. More than let's look at actual studio, and then like you look at our next album after that, and it was like recorded in like the bedroom or a practice room, right?
Yeah, drums recorded at I forgot what his relationship with Nate was.
Somebody who's related with Nate, like a family.
He had like a house studio in Denton. That's where we recorded drums
in his like living room.
Oh shit!
But the new singles we recorded drums with Cody Casillas.
Oh shit! From
Mona Borland,
and it's
a Tulip. Is that right?
What? And then the studio's
Black Oil.
Black Oil Recordings.
Yeah.
And it's I had a very good experience with them, and it is less than 5 minutes from my house. So
oh shit!
Yeah.
It's even better.
Yeah, it's absolutely
I think like he during COVID just like converted his like he took his 2-car garage into a 1-car garage.
Yeah, he added
and,
a
like,
whole room.
Added a whole room and then soundproofed it out and then like just turned it into his studio, and it looks great in there.
Yeah, it looks like I've never been there, but I've now like that he's putting like clips of like stuff in there. Like I just saw one with like Jonathan from Unity, and he's like going over and doing covers, and I saw the room, and I'm like, that looks, sounds like, and everything like looks great. I'm like, dude, I love what he's doing.
There might be talks about doing live like performances in there too, since he has it all set up too. So
yeah, because I know he did like pre-recorded videos, so that the live stuff would be kind of cool. Because I've seen people do it. Like
I think he did a live session with the God Awful Truth.
Yeah,
I might be mistaken.
Yeah, and I saw that. I think Marco from Polarize My Films like filmed that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a cool concept, and I love that like people like I just love like when the more stuff that's coming out for like bands around here that I'm like, yes, I want to see them have shit like this and
Dude,
play
back
like
in the
stuff
day,
like
Texas
this.
used to be such a powerhouse for like rock music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it still is. I'm not saying that it's not anymore.
They're coming for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe we get some drum playthroughs over here from Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He likes to.
I enjoy watching you play on stage. It's just like it's really cool to see, like hear what I'm hearing, like when I listen to the music, and then be able to like to watch you play it. I'm like, fuck, this shit is like really hard because it's intricate. Like I like just like staring over there. I'm like chilling. I'm like I hope they don't think like I'm not enjoying this because I'm just like serious. I'm just like
He's paying attention.
shit. Yeah.
Our songs can be pretty tiring because most of the BPMs are like 200. So
Fuck.
they're just driving songs.
Damn. Okay. So it's really rhythm. Yeah. I mean, the energy stays up. You know what I mean in the set, so that like gets across. Is that something like so? In the new music, is that type of energy gonna like kind of maybe tone down a little bit more?
I would say the energy would probably still be there, but there will be more moments of like, like more groove and sultriness too.
They're gonna be groovier, funkier. They're not gonna be as like driving and fast.
Yeah. Grooves is something that like I've become like, I don't know, with time I'm just like really, really enjoy like parts where like it's just like grooves or like little funky parts, like, but just things that you could really like. I hate this. Again, I need to expand my vocabulary, but like that you could just like vibe with. It's really like dancing, like it gets your body moving, and not like not like I'm trying to like run around, jump up and down. I was like, no man, I just like really want to either like dance or like
Yeah.
you know something like that. Like those are really cool, nice moments like
Exactly.
to listen to, and I feel like you hear the music a lot more with your body, and it's like a weird like concept that I've started to notice in like the music that
exactly,
I do.
dude. If you want it to be like, it brings something in you to move.
We're
Right?
not gonna be like disco, but
No. Yeah.
Not
There's
yet.
still- it's still gonna be there.
That's the next project
Not
after
yet.
this. Throw it in there. It's one thing that I didn't want to bring up when I initially like started like looking y'all up like way back when the first EP released. There was like another thing, I don't know if it's still on, but like on streaming platforms that was called Animaljam before, and it was like these kids like music and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I remember
Yeah.
I remember looking it up because I saw the first EP, and I remember like when I looked it up later, I'm like, there's more fucking songs, and I look and I'm like, what is like happening? I was like, what is this?
that's still an occurrence. Whenever people look us up,
Yeah.
No
it
lie.
still happens.
Yeah, I
this
think
day.
it is a National Geographically owned like web
Oh.
game, kids
It's
game.
a kids game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a kids game, and then it got. I mean, since they have like a big supporting thing
Yeah.
of it, they have like I guess music in it. So like when you hear it, but luckily I think now we come up first. Hopefully,
Yes,
we
now,
do.
now I haven't run into
maybe,
it before.
Maybe only for us though.
Yeah, maybe
'Cause I know some people-
algorithms and stuff.
Yeah, but that is the sole reason why our name is one word. It's
Yeah,
because of
because
that.
I think that one is like two.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
But like getting to where we are now, there were also like kids from like other countries like
Yeah.
emailing us and being like, "Hey, give me I don't know my password to my Animaljam
Oh, no,
account."
what?
Or like, yeah, dude, we would just get like random, or we would get like a Facebook.
These kids are assholes. They will comment on they'll comment on our YouTube videos like, this is a game, right? Or like just talking shit about our music. And their picture will be like a furry or like some like character.
One of the
Little
characters
character
from
from the
Yeah.
from the
piss
game.
off.
They're just like, this is it. Like the game's music is better. Fuck this.
But
Like,
the
I'm
initial
serious.
thought, I want to say, like when we were like thinking about band names, we would want something that represented to what we kind of do, which was like we're just jamming a lot of the times, right? We just grew into the music. We like what we like to play, and it's just six dudes jamming around
Pound for
and
pound.
pound for pound, dicking around.
Pound for pound, dicking around. You gotta make sure to stick that in this podcast as much as wait.
Yeah,
The
but we
saying,
are
not-
like we love animals as well, and we like to personify ourselves.
The
Sometimes.
name actually derived from the word amalgam.
Oh,
Because Johnny, we were talking about, this was at the very beginning, we were talking about what we wanted the band to be, and Johnny was kind of talking about all of us bringing something to the table, having an amalgamation of sounds, which I forgot the exact definition. Amalgam is,
it's like a collection of
It's-
like different things.
yeah,
wanna
basically.
say.
And
He's a vocabulary guy.
I just thought Animaljam, like immediately, amalgam, Animaljam, I don't know. And
yeah.
then presented it, and then we just went with it.
But like,
Really?
there's been so many our first design for like a logo said like Animaljam.
Oh, this stuff right here.
Yeah.
No,
Oh no!
oh,
Oh
kinda,
yes,
yeah.
it was like that. But like we have prints
It's the
sometimes that
Rasta
like
one.
are missing the I and the M, so it just says anal jam on it. Right? We have a koozie that does say that.
We printed anal jam koozies. I
Yeah.
was actually going to bring it.
Adel Jam.
Yeah, and
we need
at
to
first
have that
glance, a
one.
lot of people from that logo initially saw Anal Jam at first. At first
Really?
glance, you're like, oh, yeah, poor choice.
Wow, but Jesus,
But it looks cool.
I like it. Wow, yeah, I didn't even notice that, but oh, shit. But yeah, but it's kind of a weird thing, the searchability like thing that's like you
Yeah, the
kinda
SEO
have
sucks
to
on
look
it.
at, yeah, you kind of have to like take that into account with like names because I forgot what I always bring this up. Like there was a band that I think I was like working on a post for a band or something, and I'm like, okay, let me find their stuff, and there was like 10 different bands like that had that name, and none of them had like pictures of the band. So I'm like, I don't know like which one of these is this
hard.
band. That and just just other people using the same name or similar stuff, or the other stuff pops up first.
Yeah.
And then like I've had I've had a lot of time, like what I said with y'all, where y'all got combined into, and they automatically do it too, because like you'll start your own, like the Animaljam one, and then like when I saw it, it was mixed in, so like both of your musics was mixed in with like the same artist.
I hate that.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I've seen that happen to like some of my other friends where they'll come up with a name and I guess won't look it up, and then somehow
on
Spotify will automatically be like, oh, these belong, like they're the same name, so they're the same person, so they'll put it under, so all the music is under one thing. And it's kind of weird, that you have to look that up. But I think, like I said, a simple fix is like combining the word together, and I think it just like adds like a more unique feel. Like there's like little ways that you can like make your.
I like one word, 2-word band names, like Angel Maker. You know.
Yeah,
I like stuff like that.
One word names are really. I just like aesthetically looking like at a one word name, and it's like, oh, that's cool, and then like it's not overcomplicated. Like again, when you're talking about the band, like in conversation, it's easier to bring up. Like, you know, Animaljam is really easy to say, like in conversation, or like if you're recommending something or talking about music. If it's like a long title like name, sometimes like you get stuck. Like when you want to repeat it again, it's like these little weird
like I Set My Friends on Fire, right?
Yeah,
to,
stuff like that.
If you want to say their name, it's Isn't right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird thing that you have to like take into account now, like with bands. And
I feel like like single. Sorry, what were you saying?
We didn't go with Animaljam at first because we all liked the name. We all liked the name, but since there was a game called Animaljam, we spent a while trying to think of other names.
Yeah, we were.
What are some of the alternatives?
One of them was SOA, SOA, which was, I think,
Sons of Anarchy.
It was not. See, that was the other thing. That was the bad thing about it, right? Because it could be.
That was before Animaljam.
Yeah, SOA. I think it was like. Now this is super nerdy, but I think it was an enemy that was a god in one of the Legend of Dragoon games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name was Soa. I mean, John's a nerd. He loves that game.
Yeah, Johnny's like,
yeah. But then I think that's like one of the biggest contenders for a different band name. We could have been Soa.
I presented the name Curtain Call, which everyone absolutely hated.
We're gonna name ourselves as a Marshall Mathers album.
I'm glad. I really liked it at the time.
Is that the argument? Immediately.
Yeah, no, that name's lame. I'm glad I didn't go with it.
Sometimes like it's weird to look back on, like you were like really like dead set on like this is really good, and then you look back and like I'm glad like somebody caught this one.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And although like the SEO, like the search engine optimization of Animaljam was bad to start, I think now it's kind of picking up. And honestly, nowadays, if you just add word like band to it, eventually you'll find it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because like on our on all of our social media, it's always like Animaljam band.
Animaljam band.
Yeah.
You're really going with that Marshall Mathers lyrical.
Exactly, right?
Although in the game you can like create a band and like do concerts and stuff. So if you search Animaljam band on like Twitter or something, you will find a lot of screenshots of the video game, and it's like a band
of the Animaljam video.
I wonder if we can make our songs using their stuff. That'd be cool.
That's big brain in it right
we
here.
just start playing the game.
Animaljam just turns into, you turn all the pages just to like a fan account of the game.
Yeah, right. Eventually, that's what it'll all turn to. No,
eventually the goal is to play a show sponsored by Animaljam.
That'd be cool.
Animaljam sponsored by Animaljam.
But I feel like somewhere along the lines we're gonna get sued. If that's the case.
They know we exist because somebody accidentally tagged them in one of our posts, and they're like, "Sorry, we're in Salt Lake City, Utah."
So they know, hopefully.
They're just waiting till they have till y'all really take off, and it's like, all right, now we get them.
Exactly.
We're gonna take off and then sue them.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? What is speaking of that new single, like Anhedonia, what does that mean?
Anhedonia is like the inability to feel pleasure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh.
Verbatim, I think.
Yeah.
Damn,
so
that's really intense.
Yeah. So like, sometimes I don't know, you just get down in the dumps, man. You just in the thick of it, and it's like I hate to like put it with this, but there's an episode of South Park where like Stan is just like growing, and then like he has a birthday, and then he just sees everything as shit. Like he's listening to music, it just sounds like farts. He's tasting everything, it just tastes like ass. Like everything just gets turned to shit. And at the end, he just kind of like deals with it. Like it's the way the world is just going. It's a bad outlook on life, but it is. I'm sure people can relate to that, right?
No, yeah, it's definitely something relatable, and it happens. Like, you know, it doesn't necessarily always go away. Like it tends to come back. Like every now you get like, I mean, and I don't know, like maybe people like just have it just in general, but like for me, like going through like different like depressive periods and stuff like that, where literally it feels like that, where I'm like, nothing that I enjoy is making me feel like good at the moment. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff that I love. Used to enjoy. Yeah. I was like, this is stuff like that I love, and like I'm dreading every bit of it. Like right now, I'm like, so it's you get to certain places like that, which is really hard to talk about, and I think people tend to like isolate and keep to themselves like during those periods.
Exactly.
So coming up with like music and things like, I think music's a big part of that. In especially like if you're a musician and you're writing music, it kind of helps that process out. That's why I really like that. Even though like Johnny's bringing like this song that everybody kind of like does their own take on whatever the theme of it is. So because it just goes to show like how connected everybody really is.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
It's a really nice, even like in between the band, and I'm sure like when you play these songs and people who are listening to this song, it just causes that connection to grow even bigger and be like, oh, like we're all
sometimes it's like a feedback loop too, you know?
Yeah. And it makes people like feel better. That's one thing like with music, and I see like at any fucking like age, like people just like find their songs that, you know, that stick with them and relate to them. And I can tell with like what y'all write that, I mean, even just seeing like the reaction with the crowd and just like how much people like know those words and sing them, and just like how much like it hits like home with certain people. So like you guys, I think y'all do a really good job with that like aspect of like having songs that people enjoy and like want to like listen to. So it's really good. Like I said, I've been a fan for like forever. Like since that, I remember the drop, and I remember it sounds so fucking cheesy, and I'm not like, oh, you guys are here, so I'm gonna say stuff, but I'm like, I remember where I was sitting down. Like I sat down in the kitchen. I'm just gonna hear the first track. I heard it, and I sat down, sat through all of it, and I'm just like I don't know what I was gonna. I think I was like cooking dinner or something like that. I forgot everything else and just like ended up just sitting down with my headphones. I'm like, this is so fucking good. I'm like, what is, like, I just like comprehend, and then I just had it on loop. But I feel like y'all have kept that type of energy up. And like just hearing what the new stuff that y'all have been playing is even more exciting, because I'm like, oh, that the shift is happening in like creativity, and which is a real like transformative period. And it is. Are you guys at all kind of afraid of like the people being like, oh, like you changed like what you do now? Like, because I feel like eventually you might get some of that. I mean, I'm sure when you write, you know, different types of music.
I think we're just happy that people listen to us anyways.
Yeah.
Because we've always just been doing this for fun, you know, as a hobby, and we just like playing music and playing shows, and the fact that people listen to our music is awesome to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
like the biggest honor that we can have, especially during COVID, was hearing back from people that like, oh, you know, this song really helped me during like a hard time, right?
Yeah.
And that like that fulfills you as a musician on like a spiritual level, right? Just to know that you affected somebody when they were like going through a hard time. It's an interesting feeling. Yeah.
I don't think with the new stuff, you know, if people don't really like it, I don't think we're worried about it really, because we're excited for it.
Yeah.
So I hope it translates.
Yeah.
And maybe people will like it as well. We'll see.
Yeah, and I like that attitude, which is the right attitude to have anyways towards writing music. It's just like you should be writing music because it's fun. Like
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like because you like creating it. And I think when I was younger, I didn't understand that concept as much when like bands that I would listen to would change or this and that. But like growing as a musician and that, and just seeing it across the board, I'm like, oh, like you write music for yourself, not for like this is what made us popular. Like, and then I started to resent that type of music that you know is written just like, oh, it's whatever's the trend at the time, and you kind of like start sniffing it out, and then like it doesn't seem as genuine. So that's why I like now seeing like progressing, you know, like musicians who progress and write new stuff. I'm like, oh, like that's who they are. That's what they want to write. Like and that comes through. Like it's weird. Like it's this weird feeling that you get when the difference you see when someone's performing something that they like love doing versus when they perform something that like it's not what they love.
Yeah, you can see that. Like if it's fake, people can tell it's fake.
Yeah.
Right? If it's genuine and it's like, you know, we're passionate and we're putting our all into it, you know, I imagine that you probably get the same kind of feedback back. Like positive feedback, right? Yeah.
It's a thing that I've noticed is like more important to me, like out of everything. I was like, I want to see that again, just genuine, just people being like who themselves. So chemistry on stage, like y'all, especially like having like such a big group, it's so fun looking on stage, like with the way y'all perform, and that's kind of one thing that always leads into, I think, crowd reactions. It's like they react. It's just like not only the people that, because there was quite a bit of like some people like that didn't were like listening to y'all for the first time, that were just like floored. So the new bassist for Camp Bamboo, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I love that guy. That guy's cool.
Yeah, he was standing next to me, and after y'all were done, like he was just like, "What the fuck? Like they're really fucking good." I'm like, "Oh, this is someone seeing it for the first time."
Oh, nice.
I'm like, "Dope." So that's
cool. So
caught a few
saw
people.
through his eyes.
So like he was just like floored, and I'm like, I was telling him, I was like, "Yes, they're really fucking good." Like, go tell everybody like that, you know. But yeah, like so being able to see it like through people's first eyes like that, I think you guys have worked really well at that chemistry and like that you guys all have together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I told Johnny the other day, I was like, just like, you're my favorite member of this band, and I don't know why. Like, it's just like
he's a very charismatic guy.
He's like, I always like that. He's like always dressed like kind of like dapper and nice, like something really nice, and just like when he goes on stage, all this shit that he's doing, I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know what it is. Like, like you're definitely.
He goes on stage looking like a dad sometimes, and then like you see him fucking shred, and you're like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I think it hits me the same way every time. Like, it's like, I don't like. It throws me off, and then I'm just like, yeah, this just doesn't. None of that shit fucking matters. It's just like about playing, you know.
I would imagine that, like, if you were to put us on a live show and just put a sheet over the whole entire stage and let it just play, and then like in the middle of the set just pull it off, people would be like, what? These guys is doing this? Wow. I feel like we don't look apart too.
Yeah. It's funny because like it's one thing. Actually, I was talking about it on the with when I had Ballista on here, and we were talking about like the whole image thing. And how like there was a point when I was playing music that kept being really important. I'm like, oh, dude. I was like, do we need to focus on an image? And then I look back and I hated having to think like, why the fuck do I have to think about like what we're putting on or dressing like or this and that? I'm like, it doesn't. I go, it shouldn't matter. And then I brought up this story because we played a battle of the bands, and it was like we filled in because somebody dropped or something, so they called us like, do you guys want to play? I'm like, yeah, we don't give a shit about winning, so we just played. But there was like a guy from Sumerian there, and he was like giving like advice to everybody, but he told us, he's like, yeah, like you guys are good, but like your image won't work with this genre. And I'm like, what do you mean? Was
this at Tomcats West?
No, this was at the Rail Club actually. The Rail Club. And we were in that back parking lot. He was like telling us, and he's like, "Yeah, the image won't work." And I'm like, "Okay." And we were just like, "Whatever." Like we don't care.
You know, that's like a mainstream rules, right?
Yeah. And that's what it was. And it was literally, I was like, I started laughing because it was about, it's like, nah, man, you guys are too big. And I'm like, is this dude fat shaming us? Like, I was like, we came to help, like, fill in a show. But it was that idea. And then I started instilling in that genre and be like, oh, is it really like that? But it's all the commercial like music, which is when goes back to the authenticity thing. I'm like, oh, well, that commercial music doesn't seem as authentic as like anything like you see where it's not necessarily something that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people, if it seems more natural, like that's what you would normally like look like and wear or whatever. Like it's just you have to rely on how good that music is, and it just hey, it speaks for itself. You know?
Yeah, and you know, image doesn't have to be appearance, right? Image can be like your brand and how you like reach out to people. Image can be your music as well, right? And that's why we were trying to put our like that forward, right? Yeah. Like we don't have too many photos of us
we don't have any photos of us as a band.
As a band.
As a band?
Yeah. I think like the one that we did was like at John's wedding.
And the
right?
six.
Like no actual like promos like for it?
No.
Yeah.
They're like pictures that we took at like a wedding or like at Nate's wedding.
Yeah. That's the only
hey, look, we look good, right?
Yeah.
But as far as crowd engagement, though, I think we focus more on just our energy. Because I think whenever we're feeling the show, you know, and we're excited to be there, that translates with the crowd. Because sometimes when we play a show and we're not feeling it, like, you know, it will...
the crowd will only give you what you feel.
It'll reflect, because the energy is something that will be reciprocated by whoever's in front of you. If you don't look like you're having fun, it's like, why am I like gonna have fun? And I've had that like happen to me with like bands that I really like love, and I'm like looked and I'm like, they don't look like they want to be here. So like, and I'm like, dude, I'm all excited like to come see you, and like,
exactly.
and I definitely understand if you had a shitty day or something like that, but at the end, like you do, I feel like have partial responsibility in that performance. It's like, hey, like, you know, like I might not be feeling it today, but like people took time out of like whatever they like they could have done like whatever else, and they came here like, so like it is a response, at least for whatever, you know, these 25 30 40 minutes whatever, like I'm gonna pretend like it's not, like I can go back to like feeling like shit like after like because of whatever happened, but like I go, this is like for those minutes, and it's usually pretty easy to do. Like when you're on stage performing, it's really easy to forget about like any type of shit that like you're going through. It's just like I was like, oh, this moment doesn't exist. It exists outside of everything else happening. I was like, just let's play music and
you're focusing, you're having fun. Like on the show that you were at, I bet you didn't know this, but I had a migraine and my forearm really hurt. It was like strained.
Oh, really?
Because I was practicing a lot, like in the earlier week. Yeah. But you didn't notice, right?
No,
exactly, exactly. You know, and then like you said, while you're in the middle of like by the end of the set, like I couldn't really feel anything. I was just vibing. I was tired, but like I was having fun. You know, like during all that stuff, you don't really notice, like you said, man.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Again, like the energy just reciprocates back. I mean, like Bert over here like ran up on stage and grabbed like the mic, and when it's on, I didn't even like, I didn't know that, and they didn't even know like they were gonna do that. It was just like, oh, like all of a sudden it's just like you've felt and compelled. Yeah, basically that's what it looked like. I saw them run up there, and I'm like, oh my god, like what the fuck? I go, they were just like next to me. I'm like, I saw him up there, and it just like it made such a cool moment. You know what I mean? Like it made like a really cool moment, and with everybody, like even the people, like people don't know like, you know, who Bert was, but like these people over here were just like even got more excited. I'm like, oh, okay, because it's that energy just bouncing back and forth. So live first performances or something like that's there's nothing other like than that energy, and it's really cool to be a part of those shows and being able to put that on.
We also do fun things, like we do we didn't do it for this show because we had like a 40-minute set. We want to condense everything down, but we do a lot of live intros for some of our songs too that like aren't recorded on stuff, but
we did. We did.
We did some of them, not all of them. We skipped some of them.
We skipped one.
Did we? Just only one?
Philosophizing.
Was that the only one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We skipped one.
I like this dynamic because it's literally like we're doing this, and just
dude, we were worried about this too because it was like, man,
no, we're getting this right. It's cool. It's a balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have an extra balance. We have like Austin getting covered over here. Like, can we talk about? Actually, you know what? Speaking of stuff that I heard on the street. I was at 7-Eleven earlier. Actually, I don't know if y'all want to bring that up, but
you can. Go ahead,
no, like so. I earlier today, I heard the word jig come up. Animaljam jig. I don't know. I don't know what this means. Is it a dance?
Sort of.
Ooh.
No. It's a long dance for sure. That's gonna be like so after our full length album.
Jig was supposed to be the debut full-length album.
Yeah.
And we replaced it with something. But, so yeah, Jig is something... We're working on 2 albums, basically, in parallel.
Ooh.
But,
one's more of a... So, the next album is more just, like, fun, like, dancey stuff music. Jig is another concept album
more serious.
Yeah, that's a lot more serious. It's gonna tell, like... a whole story. We're talking about like each song has an important part of the story. They each flow together. There have been talks about like art for each one of those. We dream how cool it would be if we could get like a full, not like a play production or anything, but like us just like playing music off in the background and then like people acting out the story too in the beginning, like on stage. That'd be cool, but that's way crazy.
We have
right?
big ambitions for
yeah,
Jig.
So there's a lot of ideas.
A lot of ideas. Yeah,
that's really fucking cool. Shit. Now I'm just like thinking about it.
we have a separate group chat just for like the
oh really?
Just
for Jig, like storyline and
ideas and things like that. I mean, we're trying to make it multi-platform too. Like the basis of it just being music, but there's more to it as well. Yeah. Don't want to say because I don't want to like.
I think that's all.
Set myself up.
I'm looking at Austin.
No more. Okay.
I'm like, hold on, like
What else, Tim?
I gotta make sure. No, that's enough. That's enough.
VR game, Jake.
But that's really fucking cool. I like things that get produced in that manner. You know what I mean? Like I think that I can't remember the last one, but I think so like because the internet came out by Childish Gambino, they ran like a whole like film like thing for it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that you like could read along. Like there's a whole script. Like I have it over there.
Nice.
But there's
I
a
also love
script
Childish
of it,
Gambino. So
yeah, it was so great. But it was like movie parts that play like in between like things. But it's like a new way to experience like the music. You know what I mean? And making it more. And it goes back to like making shit interesting for yourself to like put out. It is. Definitely ambitious, but I mean that's what makes it like fun. It's like this isn't gonna be easy, you know what I mean, to like create all these things, but you'll get to like enjoy like what you're making, and you know what I mean. Like when it comes to, I'm sure like the process of making it alone like is, you know, feeding that creativity like
exactly.
but the actual like finally getting to put like something out in that form of manner like is gonna be really cool. So I know Jig is probably a distant future, but I'm already hyped for it. Like I don't. You don't need to say when it's coming out or when you're aiming for it. I'm looking over here at Austin. Austin's saying no. So
yeah, we're excited as well.
Yeah.
super excited.
But it is a bit down the road. But yeah, we were working on Jig because I was practicing along with the songs before what is now going to be the album coming out. Before that was an idea, but then we kind of just put Jig on pause for a second.
Because it's such a big taking and
bigger,
just a lot we want to do with it, so we want to make sure that it gets done the way that we want to. And honestly, I like the DIY aspect, so a lot of it will probably be DIY as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Trying to
look
figure
forward
out
to
how
that.
to make sure it's DIY. Cool. Any on the other song, I know you mentioned the other two like new songs. Any idea? Like, is there any set like release dates for that stuff to come out?
Not yet. It might get wrapped up with a present attached to it, but we don't know exactly when that's going to happen. Yeah. I'm talking
I have to look at
cryptically.
Austin to see what we can and can't say.
I keep looking over there too. Like, I want to make sure
He's over there. If for you guys don't see, he's holding up our NDRs, right? He's just like, hey, remember you signed this.
He's like, hey. He's like, shut up. I feel like I was just come over here, shut this shit down, close this shit down. Like it's, no, it's good. I'm very thoroughly hyped. I think every one of us is like super like loves the band, and is looking forward to everything that you're working on.
Thanks, man.
Like I said, live performances are fucking great. Your music is really great. There's a lot going for you guys that we're excited for, and we know like. Literally, like when you guys put out music or put out something, like we're like kind of already like this is gonna be good. Like we're already like it's gonna be good. We've enjoyed the trajectory of what y'all are doing, and I just it keeps going. I appreciate you guys stopping by today. I really appreciate taking time out of the day to come by.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. Do you guys have anything like shows or anything like that coming up at this later?
We're playing emo night.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
March 10th.
March
10th.
It's in March 10th or March 11th.
I think it's March 10th. But yeah, that's our next show.
Our first emo night too. Yeah.
That is true.
Nice. Okay.
I think it's it for now.
Emo night, March 10th. Cool. Music sometime in the future. Some crazy projects sometime in the future.
Yeah, for future. Crazy.
That's all we're like. That's there's no like even year. I'm just like it's just in the future. Like there's no official release date here.
The two songs are close.
No. 2 songs are close.
They're close. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting here before Austin shuts this down. But no, again, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you, Jesse and Tim. This has been episode number 57 with Animaljam with Jesse and Tim. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Sounds and breakdowns. Run away together while we still can.